Hi, I'm Mama Fontana. Welcome to my kitchen. This is going down. It's gonna go in there. Today we're gonna do something really fun because, believe it or not, it's November. We just passed Halloween and we're getting ready for the holidays. My favorite time of year. My mom always told me, she goes, I hope you never grow up, Natalie, because I just happen to love all of those kinds of things. So we're gonna make a couple different pies today. So we're gonna do pumpkin pies and apple pies. So we'll get right into it. To make the best pumpkin pies I think that you could ever have, I use one, I'll do a large can because I never make just one pie. I always make two. So I'll use a large can of pumpkin. I like Libby's. Honestly, there are a lot of things that I will buy that are not brand name, but pumpkin is just kind of one of those things, kind of like Coffee Mate. Like, I won't buy the icky kind of that kind of stuff. I only like the brand names of those. So I always buy Libby's pumpkin, and you know what else? The recipe's on the back. So there it is. So we're going to start out with one large can of pumpkin. And this is really kind of an easy recipe. Everybody thinks that making pies are so hard. They're really not, especially if we do it the Natalie way. So 1 can of pumpkin. Then it calls for 4 eggs. They magically got unshelled, and they're in this here little clear thing. I guess you'd call it a bowl. 1 teaspoon of salt. Then it calls for 2 cans of evaporated milk. That's my dog Juno. She loves to be around when I'm cooking. She loves to be around anyway. She's our rescue. We got her as a rescue when she was just little teeny, and she was the best thing. Everybody loves dogs. We'd had another dog for 15 years, and of course they get old and they go, and we got Juno, and she's awesome. Whenever I'm cooking, she likes to be in here because she knows there's going to be something delicious going on in here. So there was those 2 cans. 1.5 cups of sugar is going in next. But get this kind of mixed up because you want your eggs to be nice and beat in here with your pumpkin. See, the color starts to get kind of pretty. I think pumpkin is a pretty color anyway. Hence the fall shirts. You know, you like to have those colors going on. So I'm going to get those kind of incorporated. 1.5 cups of sugar goes in next. See, nothing too hard yet. You can use your mix master, your beater if you want to, but honestly it's not like you need to beat anything too much. The pumpkin is already pretty much pureed. Everything else just goes together. Look at the color of that. Isn't that pretty? Smells good too. I wouldn't taste it with your finger at this point though. Probably not all that delicious. And then, of course, on the can it's going to tell you you need ground cinnamon, ginger, cloves. If you watched my pumpkin pie cookie recipe, you're going to know I love pumpkin pie spice. It has all of those things in it already, so all you have to do is use this. So it's calling for 1 to 1/2 teaspoon of each one of those things. And I'm kind of generous. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in 1 tablespoon of pumpkin pie spice. And that has all of those delicious spices in it. I love that smell. It reminds me of fall. I really appreciate you guys watching. I'm starting to see some comments and seeing that you guys are making the stuff that I'm making. With being November, we're going to have a few fun things that are going to go on, and we're going to make some stuff that everybody likes to have for the holidays. So we're going to do pies. We're going to do a few other things I'm not going to tell you because you're going to have to watch and see. And then next month, of course, is going to be Christmas. So we're going to try to get some really fun Christmas recipes. So in the meanwhile, if you're thinking of something that you'd like to see made for Christmas, let me know, and we'll try to get those done. There's also a lot of casseroles and soups that people like to do this time of year, so we'll try to get some of those in there as well. Okay, so this is all mixed up. So we are going to get your pie plates. One of those cans, like I said, make 2 pies, which is great because you want to have more than 1 pie. Normally, if you have more than just 1 or 2 of you, you're going to want more than 1 pie. Plus, they're delicious. and they'll save in your fridge. Fake pie crust again. Look how easy they roll out. And this time of year, honestly, pie crust can be a little bit, expensive if you buy them in the store. You can buy the off brands, but I went to Sam's Club to get a few things, because as much as I bake, I buy my sugar and flour and stuff in the 20 and 25 pound bags. So they happen to have a big box of these in the fridge, in the refrigerated aisle, and they have 6 of them in there for like $5.98. That's a really good deal. So if you want something like that, that's what you should do. So here's one pie shell. Here's another pie shell. These are going to be so good. These take at least 60 minutes to bake, and you test them, after you're getting close to 60 minutes, you can take a look at them and see how they look inside the oven. And they might fool you. You might think that they're set. So I usually jiggle them a little bit while they're in the oven. And then the best way to test it really is to not stick a fork in it, stick a knife in it. And you actually have to make a little bit of a slice down the middle. At least that's what my mom always did. That's kind of how we learn from our parents. Okay, so we got that. We have our pumpkin pie here. Everything in it that we need. That was not too many ingredients. Eggs, pumpkin, salt, sugar, and 2 cans of evaporated milk. And if you can't remember that, it's on the can. Oh, and pumpkin pie spice, don't forget that part. So now you just have to pour them in. Try to make it even on each one. You don't want them too full because they do pop up a little bit. Those eggs are going to make them raise a little bit. There's that. Put this over here. Get the spatula so you can get all the goodness out of there. You don't want to waste any of that. And there you have 2 pumpkin pies, just like that. That took no time, very little effort. And now we're going to get those. Those are going to have to go in the oven for about an hour. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and do our apple pie, which again, the Natalie way is the easy way. So I have one more pan over here. Isn't it pretty? So we're going to start. You can do this a couple different ways. I like to do it with canned apples. And actually it's apple pie filling. You can cut up apples and you can put them in a pan. You can put some cornstarch, some sugar, and a few other ingredients, cinnamon, stuff like that, and cook them so you get a little bit of thickening on your stove, which I've done lots of times. But if you want to do a quick, delicious apple pie, buy just a couple cans. It doesn't matter really what brand you're going to make, but just get a couple cans of the apple pie filling. And look at these, are really beautiful. They're all cut. They have a gel already in them. So make sure you get all that deliciousness out of there because it's kind of tastes good. There's 1 can. 2 cans will make a decent sized pie. And I don't know anybody who doesn't like apple pie. Well, I shouldn't say. I'm sure there are. Nobody in my family. I make these a couple different ways. They like it just to be an apple pie with a crust on top. Sometimes we do it with the oatmeal and the cinnamon on the top and make it a real Dutch apple-y kind of a thing, which is delicious. Now to that, it is already sweetened a little bit, but I like to put a little bit of brown sugar in it just because, maybe a half a cup. I figure a handful is about a half a cup. So I'm just going to mix that in, give it a little extra something. And then of course, because it's apple, you gotta have cinnamon. So we're gonna add some cinnamon in there. Probably about a teaspoon. And we're gonna mix that in and make it delicious and pretty. Okay, so we have the pie crust here. Here comes one. while you're making your pies, make sure that you heat up your oven to 350. That's about what most things have to cook at. On occasion, you're going to run into something that needs to have a little bit different temperature. And a lot of things tell you, oh, if you have a darker baking pan, bring it down to 325. But a good rule of thumb is 350 for most things. So here is that pie crust in the pan, ready to go. And here is the apple mixture. Delicious. While I'm doing this, I just wanted to let you guys know I really appreciate all the comments you've been leaving. I've been seeing pictures of people testing out the recipes that I do. Also, people are asking me for exact ingredients. I tried to say them as close as I can on here, but if you're not catching it and you don't want to relook, just let me know. We'll put them out there. At some point, I may put out a little cookbook or something. In the meanwhile, if you're liking, make sure that you subscribe, leave me a comment, thumbs up, something so I know that what we're doing you're liking. Also tell your friends. There's a lot of people that like to cook, just aren't really sure how to start. I go to even my kids' soccer game, my grandkids, not my kids, my grandkids' soccer games, and I had the coach's wife come up to me and say, "You're Mama Fontana." I'm like, "Yeah, I am." So it's kind of fun to get recognized for that. And she said, you know, she just really, really likes to see the way different people cook. And like I told you, I really want to do it kind of easy so that anybody can do it. You can make really good homemade food pretty simply. And look at that, we just made 3 pies in no time. So I tucked that in because I told you my husband loves him some crust. I'm going to poke a few holes in the top of this because if you don't, it will bubble up. You can also poke them in the bottom of those, but I don't think you're going to have to worry about it with those. I'm going to put a little bit of venting space in here. And then, I don't know, I just love cinnamon and sugar, so I always put a little bit of cinnamon and sugar on top of my apple pies just because it tastes good, it looks pretty, and then it kind of cooks right into it. So we now have 3 pies, 2 pumpkin, an apple, and it took no time at all. Your family is going to love this. We'll be back in 60. Hey guys, well, we're back. My kitchen smells amazing. I can't tell if it's pumpkin, apple, or apple pumpkin. Wait till you see these things, they're gorgeous. Here's the apple. Oh yeah. Here's the pumpkin. Remember what I told you about the pumpkin. When it started getting about right, you have to use a knife and then you just make a little slice in it. And if it comes out clean, that means it's done. So instead of jumping into this pie and eating it, I'm gonna save it because I'm having my family over for dinner today. Super excited about that. They're super excited they're gonna have pies. And I just wanted to say, keep subscribing, keep watching, let me know what you need, give me a thumbs up, and let me know anything that you want me to do, I'll try to do it. We're in a really fun time of year now. It's November. Next Tuesday, you're gonna be excited. It's something else for Thanksgiving. So for the next few episodes, if you wanna learn a few things about what to have and how to make it, the Natalie easy way, that's what we're gonna learn. And as always, I share the love of cooking with my family. Now I share it with you. Thanks, see you next time.